Here you stand in the midst of an awakening, where the old ways of being and living seem to fall away, dissolving into irrelevance. You may recall a time when your role was defined for you, perhaps in a job where you were expected to adopt visions and goals that never truly resonated with your spirit. You might have acted as though those goals mattered to you, performing the part for the sake of survival. But deep down, it felt hollow, didn't it? Pretending for a paycheck or to maintain the status quo is no way to live authentically. And now, perhaps you've stepped away from that, and while it may be difficult at times, you don't regret it. You might find that your family or those closest to you don't understand. They may still exist in the old paradigm, one that thrives on striving, proving, and endlessly seeking external validation. In their world, nothing is ever enough, and the chase never ceases. But you have stepped outside of that cycle, and while there's gratitude for what they provide, you long for deeper understanding. You wish for relationships that reflect the awakened, peaceful self you've become. You desire connections with those who are not just intellectually aware, but who embody true wisdom and emotional intelligence. People who can encourage you, lift you up, and walk with you on this journey. As Ramana Maharishi reminds us, your own self-realization is the greatest service you can render the world. You sense this truth, that as you align with your authentic self and live from this awakened state, the world around you begins to shift. And yet, the human side of you, the part that still seeks connection, yearns for companionship, whether in the form of family, community, a partner, or friendships. This longing isn't a weakness, but a reflection of your evolution. The human side seeks relationships that match its newfound vibrational harmony. As Buddha teaches, when the student is ready, the teacher will appear. In the same way, when your heart is ready, those aligned with your journey will find you. This duality, the pull toward solitude and the desire for meaningful relationships, is part of the paradox of awakening. On one hand, you feel drawn to be alone, to detach from the world's values of striving, achieving, and ego-driven pursuits. Those old ways no longer resonate. On the other hand, your heart seeks peace and companionship that reflect your transformation. You are not seeking superficial connections, but what A Course in Miracles calls mighty companions. These are individuals who serve as angels on your path, offering support and guidance as you navigate your spiritual journey. Solitude is vital for your inward journey. It is in silence that you connect with the stillness of your true self. As Buddha said, peace comes from within. Do not seek it without. However, the outward journey requires living a life aligned with your values and purpose. While the inner purpose takes precedence, the outer purpose has its role in reflecting the alignment you've cultivated within. Mighty companions are not meant to be clung to, as all relationships in the phenomenal world are impermanent. Their purpose is to help awaken you further, to make the unconscious conscious. These relationships may stir something deep within you, bringing unresolved shadows to the surface for healing. As you navigate these dynamics, remember that relationships exist to awaken you. They serve as mirrors, reflecting what needs attention within your mind. Yet the forms of these relationships, the people and scenarios, are transient. As Ramana Maharishi teaches, that which is not permanent is not worth striving after. The true anchor is the self within, the awareness that observes all phenomena. Even the self that perceives the world through the senses is impermanent. In deep sleep, This perceiving self vanishes, revealing its illusory nature. The true self, however, remains untouched by the fleeting states of the mind and body. As you deepen your connection with the self, you recognize that the world you perceive is not the ultimate reality. Nothing real can be threatened. Nothing unreal exists. Herein lies the peace of God, teaches A Course in Miracles. This awareness allows you to engage with the world without becoming entangled in it. The relationships and experiences you encounter are part of the dream, serving their purpose in your awakening, but never defining your true essence. The human side of you might still feel the pull of old relationships or environments. Family dynamics, for example, can be particularly challenging. Perhaps you've experienced dysfunctional patterns, narcissism, absence, or misunderstanding. Forgiveness becomes essential, not as an act of condoning, but as a release from the chains of the past. As Buddha advises, holding on to anger is like drinking poison and expecting the other person to die. By forgiving, you free yourself to move forward unburdened. At the same time, you call in new relationships that align with your growth. These connections are not about fulfilling a need, but about mutual support in awakening. They are opportunities to give and receive love in its purest form. Ramana Maharishi said, "Your own self-realization is the greatest gift you can give to others. As you embody your authentic self, you inspire and uplift those around you." Life's journey is filled with paradoxes. You seek solitude, yet long for companionship. You detach from the world, yet engage with it. You release old patterns, yet encounter new challenges that mirror what still needs healing. This dance between the inner and outer worlds is where transformation occurs. As A Course in Miracles teaches, the holiest of all spots on earth is where an ancient hatred has become a present love. Mighty companions come into your life not to complete you, but to walk beside you as equals. They may stir up old wounds, but in doing so, they offer you the gift of healing. Every interaction becomes an opportunity to deepen your awareness and align with your true purpose. Relationships are not about clinging, but about learning, growing, and awakening together. You may wonder how to navigate this journey, especially when you feel caught between worlds. Trust the process. Trust that the universe is orchestrating events and connections for your highest good. As Buddha reminds us, no one saves us but ourselves. No one can, and no one may. We ourselves must walk the path. This path is uniquely yours, and while others may walk with you for a time, the journey ultimately leads inward. There will be moments when you feel the weight of loneliness. In those times, remember that solitude is not emptiness, but an opportunity to connect deeply with yourself. In the stillness, you find the peace that surpasses all understanding. And when you do encounter others who resonate with your journey, cherish those connections without attachment. They are gifts, not possessions. The awakened life is not without challenges. You will face resistance, both from within and without. Old patterns may resurface, and the world may pull at you to conform. But you have tasted the freedom of authenticity, and there is no turning back. As Ramana Maharishi said, the mind is only a bundle of thoughts. The thoughts arise because there is the thinker. The thinker is the ego. The ego, if sought, will vanish automatically. The real I is the self. You are not alone on this journey. The Holy Spirit, the inner guide, walks with you, offering wisdom and comfort. Call upon this guidance in moments of doubt. Trust that every experience, no matter how challenging, is leading you closer to your true self. As A Course in Miracles reminds you, trials are but lessons that you failed to learn presented once again. So where you made a faulty choice before, you now can make a better one, and thus escape all pain that what you chose before has brought to you. So here you are, stepping into a new way of being. You are leaving behind the false self and embracing the truth of who you are. This path requires courage, humility, and trust. It is not about striving, but about surrendering to the flow of life. You're not defined by your past, your relationships, or your achievements. You are defined by the eternal light within you, a light that no circumstance can dim. As you move forward, remember to be gentle with yourself. Celebrate your progress, no matter how small. Surround yourself with those who uplift and inspire you. And above all, stay anchored in the truth of your being. The world will continue to shift and change, but the self remains constant. As Ramana Maharishi reminds you, realization is not acquisition of anything new, nor is it a new faculty. It is only removal of all camouflage. Embrace this journey, for it is the greatest gift you can give to yourself and the world. May your path be one of peace, purpose, and awakening.